I wanna talk about life, I wanna talk about health. Time to talk about obtaining generational wealth. Yeah, I'm on the grind, success is on my mind. I gotta do it now because there's no better time. It doesn't matter what you really been facing. Keep the faith in all your dreams you've been chasing. Because of her, you have your number one supporter. Stop what you're doing and tune into Juicy's Corner.
So, welcome to the Juicy's Corner show. And we got the whole team here. I'm TopCarter CL. To my right,
Shawn Kel.
to my left,
Sensei Tre.
and right beside
I'm about
him.
to say, you gonna introduce me? Iceberg, for the people who don't know.
And the cameraman, which y'all can't see, LA Brim in the house.
Yeah, man, we got LA Brim in the house too behind the cameras. So, hey, today on the Juicy's Corner show, we talk about real conversations, and it's going to be about Black culture, Black relationships, which is something that we definitely need to touch on.
Yes, sir.
And before we kind of get started, just want to let y'all know, go ahead and hit the like, subscribe button, because we about to bring y'all some really juicy content. I would just put it like that. So the first question.
Hey, let me just add this: juicy but no Diddy.
There we go. Why is that even a question?
Yeah. Right. So, before everything kind of got started, my man Shawn,
Oh, facts.
he already kind of hit us up with a nice question, that it just seems like it'd be real good to start off with.
Yeah. So basically, what I brought up was the Remy Ma and the Papoose relationship, and kind of like the messy breakup that's going back and forth on social media. And if you guys don't know, they're not together, obviously. And Remy Ma is accusing him of cheating on her, and she caught it because he went to sleep while on FaceTime or on a call with the other girl. But then at the same time, they've been going back and forth. He's been saying that she's been cheating a lot, and she's saying he's been cheating a lot. People are saying that he held her down while she was in prison, but then she's saying that he cheated on her the whole time. So I don't know. What are your thoughts? What do you guys think?
Well, I just know that Remy might not want it with Clarissa Shields, because
what?
she's
The
Clarissa.
other woman that he was allegedly cheating with is like a pro wrestler,
Pro boxer.
Pro boxer,
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm like, man, but Remy.
Hey, Remy got that street in her.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna say that, but I
and
was
she
just
quick to shoot
saying.
somebody. So
That's all I'm saying. We talking
Yeah.
fist fight, or we talking like you said? I'm gonna pop off because this is
No,
different.
just fist fight type
Fist fight.
thing,
Fist
like,
fight if it got there, but these days, ain't nobody trying to fight.
No,
Yeah, that's true, that's true.
Yeah, it's over with.
well, who do y'all believe is right and who do y'all believe is wrong? Because people are taking sides.
it depends on what went down for real.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think enough people know enough information to really make that conscious decision on who's right and who's wrong. I just think that's between like Papoose and Remy.
No, it's not. The rest of us are involved.
Oh yeah,
The spotlight that they're in is everybody's business. But
Right.
again, who's right, who's wrong, I wouldn't say. I just know in relationships, since we're talking about Black relationships, when you got somebody that's sticking by you like that, hey, look, you got to work through that shit.
What do we call sticking by you? Because if he stuck by her and he was faithful to her the whole time, then that's sticking by you. But if he's sticking by you and he was cheating the whole time, I wouldn't really say that's sticking by you.
Yeah, it's not.
Well, as far as
that's
the cheating
not-
part, no. Again, we trying to get the facts and understand what's going on.
Right.
I don't really know the whole story at the end of the day. I just know their relationship was the top relationship that people compared themselves to.
Yeah.
So like, hey, I want to be like them because you see her, you see him. You see him, you see her. It was inseparable.
Yeah.
So I'll say this much too. I don't mean no harm, but
Usually when
It's
somebody
so-
says that, they mean harm.
well, no, I don't mean no harm because I'm just keeping it real. You got real talk, right? So
Right.
when people are like locked up, like it's human nature. Most people they might get lonely, or they might, you know what I'm saying? Like they might have that thing where they like, look, I gotta get me some, bro. Like
Excuses. But go
it's
ahead.
excuses.
No, I get it.
But
though.
at the same time, like some people are just built like that, right?
True.
So
True. Go find somebody else.
Yeah. Facts.
well, that's what I'm saying. If it's in their nature, before they even got into their relationship.
Yeah.
Then what you expect, down the line, or especially in a situation where, like I said, where somebody's literally you can't see them because they in jail or they in the military and they across seas for X amount of time. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. I mean, I do think it's kind of selfish. Like, if you're in a relationship with somebody and you put yourself in situations where you can get locked up. Now, some things are out of your control, but in her situation, it just seems like she didn't have to pull out a weapon. She didn't have to do all of that. And I think she should have considered him before she did all that, because then she ended up getting locked up and he was put in that position to have to decide whether he's going to hold her down or not in the first place. You got to consider your partner when you making certain moves and how you behave in the world, because it affects not just you but your family as well. Yeah. So
that's true, but in a heated moment, sometimes you ain't think about that.
I mean, in the heat of the moment, you don't think about it, but everybody's life different.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like when you get with somebody, you already know what you're signing up for.
Yeah.
To a certain extent.
Yeah, to a certain
extent. So it's like how that person gonna react. You can't really tie it to, I need to act this way because of my relationship. It's like, this is what I was built to do, and everybody ain't built to go through stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like me as a man, if I was to get with somebody like that, hey, look, I know what come with this girl. I know she into it. I know she about to. Yeah, so if she get locked up, I gotta hold her down, which is what I'm assuming how Papoose obviously was looking at it. But again, everybody built different.
This guy,
I can hold down my girl locked up like that, and or I can just be like, if I'm that type of person, hey, I need to find somebody else. Look, this just ain't gonna work. You should have made the right decision. On to the next one.
Yeah, I was just under the impression that when Remy went to jail, Papoose was coming to visit her almost every day or something, like conjugal visits.
Conjugal visits.
As that.
Yeah, so I was under the impression he was going there, and she was actually like, hey, you come in here a lot. Like, you good. Like, I'm going to be good back, like, in here type of thing. So when it comes to that, I feel like, he's in the right by, going, visiting her and everything like that. And then on the outside looking in, it just made it seem like he was doing everything right. And then when she came home, it just seemed like she, I don't know, just must have got the big head and was just like, hey, I'm just about to cheat. You know what I'm saying? Or it was just in a situation where she wasn't as strong as he was when he was holding her down for years. And
again, what is holding down? Because if you're cheating and doing all this other stuff, that's not holding somebody down.
But I didn't hear nothing about cheating until she started saying like, oh, like he cheated. But I know how females are at times, and they get emotional, and if they see you moving on with somebody, and then they get super emotional, and they want to be like, all right, I want to paint this narrative. Like, y'all kind of paint me bad, like a villain or something.
Yeah.
And it's like in the U.S. or America, I feel like women do get that playing victim thing,
man.
And
so
yeah,
I agree with you on that. I literally just last night was talking to this guy who, doing a little side gig or whatever with the sound stuff, and he was talking about how other people in other countries, how they look at us. And like you said, like other countries, they look at us like we perverted and all these other types of things because, like you said, we be cheating, we be out here doing all this, doing all that. And it's like, I mean,
the only difference between us and those people is that in other countries, they do their dirt in secret. And in this country, we tend to put all our business out there for social media in the world.
I disagree.
Really?
And I'm going to tell you why I say that. So we are hypocritical here.
Mm-hmm.
So going back to like what my man TopCarter CL was just saying, from the outside looking in, what he saw, he felt like he was in the right. You know what I'm saying? He was doing all the right things. That's oftentimes here in America how things go. Like, we let you see what we want you to see, but we be doing it in secret. Or, matter of fact, a great example, people in the church, they be, holier than thou in the church, but then be out here sleeping with the pastor wife or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, and whereas in other countries, it's actually they're more open about like what it is that they want and what they do, and it's more accepted in that light as far as if you're more open. It's not like they gotta, meet me around the block and they're like.
I mean, that's why most of them countries you can have multiple wives and it's okay.
Well, okay, then it really depends on what country you're talking about. Because if we're talking about countries where they're open and they're saying like, hey, I want multiple wives, I want this many amount of wives, and it's just an open thing, then that's one thing. But if you're talking about all other countries other than the United States, I don't agree with that, because like Haitians have a reputation, no shade. But Haitians have a reputation for having 2 families, 3 families, and they don't know about each other.
Yeah.
And that stuff I hear from Haitian people that I talk to, like, that's a regular thing. That's not doing it out in the open. Yeah. That's secrecy. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I guess it depends on which country we talking about.
Well, it just depends on the person. It ain't even the country. The people they self can choose to.
Facts.
Even here, like I said, I got the proof of what I was doing. So I've had the different families and relationships going on. It is what it is. Everybody's lifestyle different. Mm-hmm. It's just you as a person, if you can manage it, fuck what the world got to think.
Yeah. I just think open honesty is the best way to go. As long as everybody knows what's going on in the situation, then
what you need to have.
Yeah. And that kind of go back to what Ice was saying too, man, if you know what you want, then why go get this person that don't fit what you want? And then now you gotta cheat in the first place.
Exactly.
Because why not find somebody who like, hey babe, like, you cool if I got a couple, we see other people, we do this, do that. Yeah, like, all right, cool, then maybe we'll work out. Oh, you want to be monogamous? Okay, I guess we can be in a relationship, and now I'm over here with all these people. Like,
I agree. Yeah, you should have those conversations periodically throughout your relationship, because that way you can just, instead of you sneaking off and cheating, if you, like you said, ask that question and the other person is not for it, then y'all can decide if y'all need to break up or if y'all just need to move on, because you're looking for 2 different things. But I think humans have a fear of being honest with the other person.
Definitely.
And a lot of times too, I think in relationships, like when you desire this person and you want to keep this person, but you also want other people, but if you had that conversation with this person, you already know their answer. You know they're going to say they want monogamy. But you don't. But your selfishness is like, nah, I ain't gonna tell them because I'm not losing this person. But I'm definitely getting them people over there too.
Yeah.
Then that's when the secrecy and the lies and all that foolishness come in.
Yeah, that's an internal conflict that person got to battle with. And I tell them from my own experience, that should have eat you alive.
Yeah.
You better be honest with yourself first before you even worry about honesty with somebody else. If you know what you want, again, you come across that person, hey, is it gonna work? You ain't gotta give nobody no checklist at the end of the day. But you ask that question, hey, Bim, cool, this ain't gonna work, on to the next one. Or stay by yourself. Now you can just do what you wanna do until you get to the point that every human, I guess, gets to. Hey, you know what? I done had my fun. I know what I want because this is in the past, and I just got this one person. But
or just get 2 or 3 like Neo.
Hey, you get 4 or 5 like me? I ain't mean to put that out there.
I want to ask the only person in here that's actually married. And see what he got to say. So what you think, bro?
Notice it ain't nobody on camera.
Yeah.
Who's married?
Don't say that.
Yeah, you just got in trouble, huh?
No, actually, I was gonna pose a question, right?
Yeah.
What if Remy was actually cheating while Papoose was in? You know how they were saying, oh yeah, she was faithful, she was visiting him, and
no, you're mixing it
the
up.
other way around.
She was the one in jail. He was the one that was free.
Yeah. What am I saying? Yeah. What if Papoose? I'm sorry. Let me get that straight. What if Papoose was actually cheating?
Then it wouldn't be holding somebody down in the sense of a relationship. It would be holding them down as a co-parent, because you're going to see them.
Yeah.
Right? Because didn't they have a kid together already?
Yeah.
You're going to see them. You're checking on them. You're letting your child be in communication with them. Stuff like that. You would be a good co-parent that is helping that person that you created a child with to stay in contact with their child and stuff like that. But if you are claiming that it's a relationship and you're cheating the whole time, you're not holding that person down. That doesn't make sense.
Right.
Unless y'all have an agreement.
I guess the facts would come like, is there proof that he was cheating? Because like you said, when she got out, that's when all that came up. From what I know, and with her being locked up and following Papoose, he was, hey, I'm taking care of lawyer fees. I'm doing what I need to do. I'm talking to these people.
But here's the thing, right? How long was she in prison for?
6 years, I think.
Yeah.
So you mean to tell me Papoose didn't mess with nobody for 6 years?
We don't know that. And as a human, as a man, just like what Trey said, you can't expect somebody to set aside stuff like that. But again, to each his own, and the person that can really do that, I mean, it ain't nothing. Okay, I can just speak from experience.
Yeah.
It's a certain amount of time you can go to where you don't need it. But at the end of the day, everybody different. If you really care for this person, 6 years, hey, look, it's not like it's not normal. At the end of the day,
They say, look, I guess I'm just be at home taking care of myself.
I mean, you can take care of yourself. You can figure something else out. At the end of the day, everybody different. Like I said, I guess I'm just to the point to where after you done had it so much, you don't give a fuck about it. I don't care.
Yeah.
I can go get it from any female I want. Like, at the end of the day, now it's to the point
like
where
when you've overindulged in something, it no longer is something that you desire. Like the desirability is not as strong.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I see why they call you Iceberg.
Hey, it's cold in here. Yeah. It's cold and it's getting even colder. So, hey.
Yeah, it's well, the whole situation is interesting, but I honestly think that it all comes down to the fact that we need a timeline. Because, he cheated, she cheated, blah, blah, blah. Everybody saying this person cheated on them. Where's the timeline? Who cheated first? Like, that's what it all comes down to me. The person who I would say would have started the problems in the relationship is a person who stepped out first. And we don't know who that is. So.
Right. And that's the big thing. Like, the timeline to me is basically she was in prison, she got out, and Papoose was holding her down the whole time. And they got married when she got out, right? Because they was on Love and Hip Hop or something? Yeah.
They got married when he got out or while she was in
when she got out,
after she got out. Right?
Yeah, after she got out, everything looked to be,
they had a new
fine
baby.
and dandy.
Yeah.
And then, had a baby.
To, North Carolina, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was like the Raleigh area.
I didn't know that.
I would.
And then Remy Ma started hosting this battle league, or they opened their own battle league. It was Remy Ma and Papoose, I guess, opened it up. And then all of a sudden, Remy Ma ended up
And in that case,
cheating.
she would be wrong, but we don't know
what the timeline is.
Is. Because now all of us were like, okay, Papoose is in the right because she cheated then. But then when she gives us, he was cheating the whole time while he was supposed to be holding me down. Now we're in a state of confusion because now we're like, okay, if that's true, then now we need to reevaluate who's right and who's wrong. So we don't know. Not that we should know because it's their business anyway. But I do, when he tried to shame her for putting it online and putting it out there for the world, I do understand her stance on that. Because remember when this first happened, we all were like, dang, Remy, you messed up a good thing. What's wrong with her? Everybody was going in on her. So when everybody keep talking about they don't understand what she was talking about when she said she was getting dragged or getting bad publicity from this, yes, we do. Because we were all talking about it on social media. Or most people were talking about it on social media about, dang, she's stupid for messing up this black love and how could she step out on him? And she was getting all that flack. So if it was true that he was also cheating, then I can understand why she got fed up and she ran to the internet because he wasn't saying anything and just letting her take all of the hits, basically. Yeah. I don't think that's fair. So that's it. But speaking of black relationships, what do y'all think as far as the stance with black women and black men? I know on social media, a lot of times we see black women saying black men ain't this, and this, and they ain't doing this, and this, and they not leaders and all this stuff. And then we see black men saying black women are not doing this and they're not being feminine and they're not this, that, and the third. And so you see this clash because you got Kevin Samuels and you remember that Lady Cynthia? Do y'all know who that is? Where she said abort black male babies. That was her stance. She said we should abort all.
So she was the female Kevin Samuels.
Yeah, she was like the female Kevin Samuels. They took her YouTube channel down, but she almost had like, I think 200,000, 500,000 followers.
Well, my thing is, if you abort all male black men, like then the only thing you left with is men of other cultures. So, or no men at all if you don't want to,
Yeah, she was encouraging like black women. I think she was encouraging black women stepping out and dating other.
So I don't.
Okay, think Kevin Samuels didn't.
I mean, that's just a play on trying to get rid of the black culture in general. Like that's crazy.
So I do encourage, like, don't be scared to date outside your race and all that stuff because humans are humans at the end of the day. You gonna
go for what you like.
Yeah, but to say that you are pro-black and then you turn around and talking about don't date black men.
Well, see,
That's kind of crazy.
The thing is,
I think she was pro black woman.
This term black men, everybody associate black men with just this stigma of we're the worst.
Yeah.
Whatever. The choices that some may have may be like that, but it's more than just what we got here. Like, every black man ain't what the typical society wants to say a black man is. So people need to quit doing that. That's why this relationship shit is the way it is right now. Because the stigma of what social media puts into these females is, yeah, go try this over here because it's this, or go do this because the black man that you with is just like the rest of them. No, they ain't, motherfucker.
So then I got a question, because I know you, like, what is everybody's stance as far as, like, do they prefer to date in their race, or do y'all prefer to date interracially, or does it not matter? Like, what is everybody's stance on that?
Shoot,
I can go first if you want me to. Man.
Okay. Go ahead, Shawn.
I prefer to date in my race, but I have no problem with people who date interracially. It doesn't matter to me, but I prefer to date black women. But that's me.
When it comes to me, I love black queens. You know what I mean? Like, I just have to get that off my chest.
Yeah.
You know, it's nothing when it comes to any other races, because there are like beautiful, you know, other races as well. But it's just like, when it comes to me, it's just one of them things where maybe it's how I was grew up or raised or whatnot. But I just feel like us as black people are in like a situation where it's a unique situation where I feel like we're kind of under attack in a way. So when it comes to that, like the broader picture is that, okay, it's a lot of other, you know, races, everything looks good, but I'm like for my people, you know? So when it comes to me, I feel like us as a community need to actually be more together and be more like black families and things like that, because it's been like a concerted effort to split us up. Yeah. And when we're split up, that's when we're at our weakest. Definitely. So when it comes to like this narrative and the media kind of pushing things on this, I don't even feel like it's our decisions that we kind of make it. Sometimes it's like other people's influences on us from other cultures and stuff like that, that rather see us in a weaker position. Yeah. So me, I just feel like it's a bigger thing than just dating outside, you know, other races and stuff like that. I just feel like we got to take care of ourselves first, because obviously other races haven't or aren't going to take care of us. So I just feel like it's like a responsibility type of thing. But I mean, I can't really judge other people for thinking that same thing, but that's just how I think about it.
Okay. So I'm going to circle back to something you said after we all answer this question. So yeah, I'm going to circle back to that. But as far as dating, I'm going to be the first one to break the chain. You know, I'm going to be that bad guy. So me, like, I'm not going to say that I prefer to date outside my race necessarily. It's very much changed over the years. Like, I mean, there was a time in my life where I was like, oh, Hispanic women, you know what I'm saying? Like, or, you know, like I've had black girlfriends, I've had white girlfriends, I've had mixed girlfriends, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it don't really matter to me. At the end of the day, it really does come back to like, how does that person treat you and how do you treat them? You know, like you said, do y'all mesh well together? Those types of things are very important, because, you know, to some degree, I do believe that, like, you know, being like an advocate for your culture and stuff like that is, you know, very important. Because even like when I have dated like a white woman or something like that, right? I'm still like, you know, cluing her in on like, okay, well, you know, this is black culture. You know what I'm saying? Like getting you to understand why this is this or whatever.
Yes,
right?
I'm not doing that. I'm not teaching at my house.
but I mean, at the end of the day, though, like you say that, but just think about the average person that you might come across, right? Like, not everybody grew up the same way. So you can meet another black person who don't know the same things that you know.
But you know, we have cues. Like, there's certain things that we know. Like, for one thing, for most black people, right, we know that hair in itself is a culture. Yeah. We know that, like, certain things you just don't have to explain, even if we come from different cultures. If I'm Jamaican, right, because my mom is African-American, my dad's Jamaican, two different cultures, but they still understand blackness.
That's
so
true.
I just feel like there's some things that you just unnaturally understand, and
So-
that's what I'm saying.
So with that being said, are you saying you date within your race for the ease of it?
In a way, yes, because I do like the idea of like I'm a visual person. Like even since a kid, I've always visualized what my family would look like, and I just always envisioned us all having the same racial background, maybe not cultural, but like I don't know. My kids, I see them as black. My wife, I've always seen her as black. Like that's always been in my mind. I've never visioned it as something else. So I don't know. And I just want my kids to look as much like me as possible. And I feel like we can, like me and my kids, like I'm thinking about me and my son, like we could talk about locks or if he wants to get waves or like we can have those black experiences that you might not get if you have a biracial child because, you know, I don't know. I just wanted them to look like me, and I feel like I'm already as like super light, not super light.
Yeah, you said it. You already said it. I can't see Brim, but he don't be like,
In that aspect, though, you know, all kids don't just come out.
But
like
it's more predictable
exactly
when you date in. Yeah. I feel like you have a higher chance of having a kid that looks more like you as far as hair texture, facial features, stuff like that.
Yeah.
When you are dating in, and this is for me personally, because anybody who dates outside the race, I don't care. Like I would never hate on somebody for being an interracial. My brother's wife's from the Philippines, and they just had a baby together, so I don't care. But for me personally, that's how I envisioned it. But you're right. You could have a child who's albino, or you could have a child who, I don't know, just comes out with a hair texture that your grandmother had or something like that. So that's true, but it's less likely if I date in versus if I date out.
Yeah.
And I prefer my kids to look as close to me. And plus, I'm the type that would compete. I'm not going to lie to you. Like if my kids came to me and said, you know, both cultures are great, but I like mom's culture more, or her racial background and that identity more. I would be offended.
Okay.
Because I think it's lit being black. So how could you not? Like what in the world?
Lit being black. I like that.
Yeah. Like
T-shirt coming soon.
Yeah.
And also, Trayvon, to kind of play off what you were saying, just about different cultures and stuff. Like it's like you do. I feel like you would have to teach them more. You know, about like who you are, who you came from and stuff like, or where you came from. And like, if you just want to teach somebody who's already in their 20s, I feel like, or 30s, you know, it's just going to be like a wall, like a roadblock where it's kind of like you got to knock down them certain ideals that they already come into the relationship with.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely some challenges and some hurdles when it comes down to interracial dating. But to that point, though, my whole thing is right when it comes down again, just people are humans. So, and part of the issue that's going on currently, I'm gonna say here in America. I'm not gonna speak on other countries because I don't live there. I know it's all across the world, but here in America, there is very much racial tension, right?
Right.
So, not to say that this is anybody's obligation to, you know, sit here and, like you said, teach other cultures about us and all that. But the more that the other side knows, you know, the more likely they are to understand certain things, right?
Sure.
And then, you know, that kind of gets rid of certain stigmas and things like that as well. But I mean, like I said, I get why you date within the culture. I get why you date within the culture. The question I was gonna ask is, and I'm gonna get to Ice because he been waiting for a hot minute.
You don't even want to know what I'm about to say, but go ahead, I'm listening.
So I was gonna ask Shawn Kel.
Yeah.
And it came from what TopCarter was saying a second ago. Do you think that the reason that you date within your race is also because of how you were raised?
No, because again, like look at me and my brother, total opposites. He has more of like your mentality and like we are all humans. And he dates any race versus me who is more like I prefer to stay in. So I don't think it's my upbringing. because, and then too, I think like even in my personal upbringing, I noticed that a lot of my family, the women are usually lighter. Even if it's a same race couple, the women are usually lighter than their husbands. So it's still like things of like colorism and things that you might witness in your black family. So I couldn't necessarily say it's my family because, it just, the outcomes are different. I think it's the person. Like you as a person, when you get to that age and you start dating, you have to decide, what do you want?
Yeah.
Do you want to date like open and be like, have different options and stuff like that? Or do you prefer to have a certain type? Like you just have to make that decision for yourself and nobody can judge you for that. So if somebody tells me that they prefer to date outside of their race or they prefer to date interracially, I would just be like, okay.
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing for me to get upset about. It's just not for me. That's all.
Yeah. Well, I just asked about the cultural upbringing because I do see that even within my own family. Like one of my sisters, she was explaining to me like why she figured out that why she likes the men that she does, right? And it's kind of because of that upbringing and stuff like that. And I heard you mention it, so I was just like, okay. So I'm just curious about your particular situations. But I will say this. Black people, stop hating on black people. Please stop hating on black people.
Definitely support.
You should date out for your somebody that you like, not because you hate what you are. So yeah. But go ahead, you can give us your opinion. Yeah, what's going on?
Hey, y'all know the Baskin and Robbins slogan?
No.
31 flavors.
Oh my God.
Hey, look, I'm with all of them at the end of the day, but I have to bounce off what Lo said. A black queen. Look, all my kids, obviously, black women. Anybody I've been in a relationship with, black women. But I've been with all of them.
Hey, you heard what he said earlier.
What I say earlier? I gotta remind you.
Say, well, you get so much of it, man, it don't even matter, no.
Yeah. I mean, now granted, so, at this point in my life, as much fun as I have had, I do want to settle down, and it's only going to be with a black woman. Granted, like I said, I got some that I talk to now, and they real cool, but we can't go any further, and it's because of my upbringing. Based off society and what we hear as kids and all the movies that we watch, that puts your mind in a different spot. So movies that we watch to where a white woman walk in the house with a black dude, and then it gets quiet, and it's like, now he's pushed off to the side because he went and got a white girl, like society says black men do. I grew up seeing that, so naturally my mind thinks like that. Like, I can't bring this white girl home to my grandma. She gonna cuss me out.
They would love your kids though, because they would love your kids. They be like, oh, these light skinned. They would love them. They would love them kids. I noticed that a lot in the black community. You bring some biracial kids through the door, the black kids kick them out the way. They running to them light skinned kids.
So society puts us in a position. You just as an individual gotta understand that, okay, what you like is what you like, and I know I'm gonna get some pushback for making the decision that I make. But at the end of the day, if you happy, you happy. I had a homeboy that said, look, he will never mess with another black woman a day in his life because of what he went through with the black woman and multiple black women to the point to where now he feels like, just like they say all black men are, he feels like, hey, look, all these black females, they just gonna bring me the same shit. Problems, drama, and bullshit.
Is he dating all African American? Were they all African American, or did he?
All the women that he was with, and the one that he was, actually took it to the next level with, it just wasn't a good experience. And too many bad experiences put you in that position where, okay, look, I tried it with this many different people, but the same outcome came. You know what? I'm done. I'm gonna just go over here and try it outside. But again, to each his own. Me personally, hey, look, black women, I can't get enough. Even through all the bullshit I've been through with y'all, I just can't get enough. So, hey, it is what it is.
Yeah, kind of piggybacking off of him, even though I'm just like dead set on black women, it's just one of them things where I'm not saying it's the easiest thing to do, because us as black people in general have like a unique situation in this country where I feel like it's just been psychologically, like psychological warfare kind of going on when it comes to social media and just the media, when it comes to just narrative, like other cultures telling our stories, or they presenting our stories to us, and it's like, nah, that's not it, you know. So when it comes to like black women, I do feel like you just have to have a more rigorous
I feel like we're
question-
overcomplicating it though.
questions.
Yeah,
and
it's not
stuff
really
like that.
complicated.
No.
Like
I mean, just asking the right questions. You know what I'm saying? To make sure that y'all do align, you know, when it comes to checking off the boxes and stuff like that. So I just feel like you do have to like go more in depth to like know if that's the right person for you.
So, but you're saying that based off it just being a black person, or just in general, the female, and that, because when you said check off the boxes because it's more boxes pertaining to a black female, or it's more boxes or less boxes pertaining to outside of a black female? Because they are complicated, but we're not gonna go too far into that right now.
But I feel like that is like the individual type of person that you're talking to.
Okay.
You know, because to me, I do look at it as though, all right, so this is a black female, a black woman, and I feel like she's going to have more understanding of where I come from.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm not going to have to ask her certain questions.
So it's per situation. It's just per situation, per female.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I was just speaking from the standpoint of the assumption of this black person is going to think and know where I come from. It's a lot of black people out here who don't even know they're black.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Wasn't even raised in the term of going to what you were saying. That's all I was saying. But yeah, I get you. I get you. That's true.
Well, then what do we consider black? Like, does somebody need to have two black parents? Like, what are we considering?
It's not really a term. I mean, granted, skin color, yeah, you can say this person is black.
Yeah.
But then some people take that even further because we're not black compared to some black people that I've actually seen or know, but that's just color-wise. I mean, I don't know.
I think it also depends on perspective. You know what I'm saying? Because I know what I consider black, right? Like, but then, okay, so it's funny that you say this. This is one of the topics I was going to bring up, but I left it alone. But we're getting around to it now anyway. So the topic itself was, you know, have you ever been considered like not being black enough?
Yes.
You lost your black card for some people.
Yeah.
I'm like, but what does
Black enough mean?
black enough mean? You know what I'm saying? Like, because your standard of being black versus the next person being black is two different things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's really about perspective at the end of the day. And unfortunately, going back to a lot of things that we've been saying throughout this conversation, society, you know, paints these pictures of us. So these stigmas are already put out there. And then on the other side of that, you got people who they want to like be a part of whatever, or think that they understand something so much that we almost are like tokens in their eyes, right? And then like, but then you got some people who like, you know, I don't know, it's like they're so rooted in, you know, I am this, I am that, like, you know, then that all of a sudden makes you not black enough because your situation wasn't the same as their situation, right? Or you dress this way and I dress that way. Like, what? Like, that don't make no sense.
I kind of get what you're saying because I experienced that going to HBCU.
Yeah.
Because a lot of them were, not a lot of them, but there was a good
Majority.
population of them that were from like lower income communities or whatever, the hood.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't say I'm from the hood. I wouldn't say I'm rich either, but I would say I'm from like a kind of like a lower middle class. And so when I would go in those spaces, I felt like they were expecting me to act a certain way. And it's just like, and if you didn't act that way, you're not black.
Yeah.
Or you're not black enough. I think that's a little strange.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
It's the perception.
Yeah.
Like a person who's going through something considers that as black. Why do we have to consider that to be? I gotta be part of, like he said, middle, upper class, lower class. However, I gotta be part of the lower class to be black. I gotta be part of this other class to be high. And I mean, granted, I don't know what anybody perceives they self as when somebody treats them like that, but I know just from hearing like how my son is now. Granted, we try to provide him with the best stuff in the world, but it's like I hear conversations with him saying that people, they call him a suburban kid, and it's like, you don't even know how he grew up. You don't know how the transition from him being with his mama or being with me or whatever environments that each person chooses them to be in, Like, you can't single him out to say he's not black. He's the same color. He can operate in the same environments. He's got the skill set that he needs to have, and it ain't pertaining to what environment he was in. So people put people in a class of just, you have to be this to be black. Nah, I mean, granted, you fortunate enough, hey, cool, you still black.
Yeah.
I don't care if you ain't never been in the street, in a shootout, whatever the case is. You ain't got to do all that to be black. It does not matter at the end of the day.
Yeah.
I 100% agree.
Yeah, we have to understand that being black doesn't put you in a certain standing, like in life. Like, not every black person's from the hood. Not every black person is, poor or rich or from this community, that community. You could be different cultures. You can have different financial backgrounds. You can have different upbringings and mentalities in your households. There's so many different factors and those outer elements that factor into who you are as an individual. And I think that as black people, you can acknowledge somebody's blackness, but let's see the person as well while we're acknowledging their blackness, to realize that this person might not behave, act, or speak how you speak just because we're both black.
Exactly.
So one thing I want to say too, we have to stop doing as well is so obviously when it comes down to what a lot of the world thinks that being black is, we often go to the worst possible like definition of that, right? Like, oh yeah, I saw this suspicious guy and he was, you know what I'm saying? Like thinking of things like that, or this person lazy and they don't do this and they don't do that. Like, no, but we need to change what the narrative of that is really at the end of the day. Cause I mean, we always talk about black excellence. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And if people are thinking of that, they know, there are so many different things that can be, right? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So
how do we get the narrative changed? Cause that's what I'm glad you hit on it. That's what I was going to say. It's like, so somebody that's coming to me saying I'm not black enough because I want to live a certain way. So you telling me you want to live like that? So to fit being black, you want to be, and we ain't even got to get on this conversation, but assistance and help and all that. So you telling me the standard to get this help, you want to stay in that standard to be considered black?
Yeah, see, that made no sense. That's like, because with my mom, she was a single mother and given, like my people, they was in the hood, like, my grandmother stayed in the hood and everything like that. We was over there all the time. We've had to move back in with her a couple of times and stuff. And but my mother, her thing was she didn't want us to have to grow up over there. And the thing is like, even though yes, she did get some assistance and stuff like that, she always found a way to be able to use that outside of the hood instead of having to do it in the hood. And the thing is, she got friends and everything over there. It ain't like she don't go over there. I don't want to be associated with but being in those environments, sometimes not only, is it not really helpful to you, but it also puts you in worse situations and more danger and all these other things. Like,
survival mode.
Like what we talk about. You got, I'm put a studio in my house. Okay, cool. Well, people steal stuff around here, right? Like,
$1,000 in equipment coming in this house, it ain't gonna be there later.
Yeah, so it's like certain things just don't make sense, but because we're so like like you said earlier, like growing up, these are things that I saw. Or, this is the way that
program. We gotta reprogram.
Exactly. So
to do that, we have to be able to like I said, you got to be able to present that. Like when somebody says you're not black enough or whatever the term is and whatnot, it's like, well, shoot, I don't need to fit into trying to be what your version of black is, but let me take what you doing since you feel like you're blacker than me, and let me put you on some games so we can all, as a group of black people, be better. Like everybody can start out in the hood, whatever the case may be. The goal is to not embrace it and want to stay there. Granted, you can be there, you can go back, you can visit, but the goal is to get everybody out to where there's no such thing as whatever that is anymore. Yeah. It's literally just, if everybody got money, everybody should be all right. Some people don't look at it like that because some people going to do the wrong thing with it. But putting everybody in the right position, we no longer have to think about anything like that. We don't have to look over here and be like, that person is better than me. No, we all on the same level. Let's get rid of the lower class. Let's get rid of what people consider. I mean, we're talking about black people, but it's a lot of people that really associate that with that at the end of the day. Just to be straightforward at the end of the day.
And I think other races, we have to be careful about how we represent what blackness is to the public, because I think other races have a a confusion in a sense. And the only reason I said that is because even when I remember working at a group home with a bunch of teenagers, black, white, whatever. And I remember one specific boy, he was half Hispanic, half white. And he would always, like when he met me, he was confused because he grew up in a group home. So the black boys that he was used to interacting with were a certain kind of black people, I guess. And so when he met me and I wasn't speaking a certain way and I wasn't acting a certain way, he was just walking to me like, I'm confused by you. Like you confusing me. Like I don't understand because you don't act like any black person I've ever met before. Yeah. But he's used to a certain type of black person. So I think we have to be careful about how we represent blackness because other races now have this mentality that we're this one way, which can be a problem because if they see us as one way when we present ourselves as in other ways, then it kind of conflicts. Yeah. And we do have to get along here in the United States, especially because we are a melting pot. Yeah. Allegedly.
And that's the thing, right? Yeah. That's why I say, like all the different things that we talked about, it really kind of comes back to like building unity in a lot of ways, right? And how do you build unity? By understanding the next person, not judging the next person. I mean, don't get me wrong, yeah, you have your thoughts about whatever, but at the end of the day, like that's them. They are. They like what they like. They can date who they want to date, and that's all cool and well. You know what I'm saying? As long as you ain't causing me no problems or harm, like difference it make. Like, and that just goes back to what you were saying, and like I think there are a lot of ways that we can alleviate a lot of things, right? It's just we gotta really teach up the generations, even people who are like set in their ways right now. I mean, people can still learn or adapt or change. So
yeah, they just don't want to.
Yeah, exactly.
So when y'all was talking about like the narratives and things like that, when it comes to just black relationships and community, how important you think like social media and the media is to that, and how do you feel like we can change that?
Get rid of it
first. I had a lot to say.
Get rid of social media. But yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I feel like the answer is yes. I feel like even when I see a lot of the black TV shows like Power and all these black TV shows, it's always starring somebody in the hood and somebody getting shot and some type of drug dealer and some type of, I'm just like some of this is whack. And I've seen like sometimes where they try to create black people in different genres. Like I saw one time they tried to put a black sci-fi TV show, and I watched it and it was really good. But it got canceled because black people don't seem to be interested in that.
What show was about that?
I forgot the name. It was that girl with the short hair. She's married to a white guy in real life. I forgot her name, but it was a good show. But I noticed that we ourselves as a community, we only like to see ourselves represented in a certain way in our TV and our music and this and that. And so I think we need to work on when you see a black person doing something in the genre of music or in television that's a different category than what you're used to, you need to support it because we need black people in different spaces. Like we can't all be starring as Timmy in the Hood or something like, or not Timmy, I guess his name wouldn't be Timmy, but like we can't all be starring as somebody in the hood and running from our drug dealer lifestyle and all this crazy stuff and this fake stereotypes that they put in all these movies with us. Like it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But the people that's creating them, they're literally only doing it for the entertainment purpose because they know the majority of the people that's going to watch that are the consumer and all they want is entertainment. So they're going to feed that urge by, hey, this is the stories that they want to hear. I'm going to make this story the way it is based off of what I know is going to sell. But then when people do go out the way to make that other one, some people catch on to it, but the masses don't. So it's up to us and the people who do think like that to start building that majority of people that could see outside of, everybody ain't got to be a drug dealer. Like you said, everybody ain't got to be from the hood. Let's change that around. Like, matter of fact, and it's coming around because I've been seeing it just watching entertainment, but obviously we're starting to become, once you get out of the consumer role, you start wanting to be the person that influences the change. So now that we're coming into that stage, and I mean, everybody can be a creator these days.
Yeah.
It's just like what they did with the show, what's that show with the Fresh Prince?
Oh yeah.
They show black people in a manner of they're in this nice neighborhood. They not from the hood, but the black person that came over there was from the hood, put in a better environment. We just got to show the world that it's really like that. Yeah. Now, granted, the new version that they did from Philly to LA and that's a big come up, but it's black people doing it. It doesn't have to be, anything else. So, I mean, it's up to us to inflict that change. And sadly enough, it's not going to happen overnight, but we have to do that because a consumer that wants to stay a consumer, you can't tell them to go create a product to go sell. They don't want to. They just want to sit back and consume. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got to do our part.
That's true. That's very true. Now, the only thing I was gonna say too, because I know you said social media. Mm-hmm. In my eyes, at least, I mean, y'all can agree or disagree with this. I do feel like, even though they can cross, I feel like Hollywood and social media are two very different animals, right? Because on one side, like you said, Hollywood tends to create these movies and these narratives and these types of things, right? And then on social media side, it's a lot of influence through just like trends and things that people see and, music sometimes as well. And those are two very different types of, again, black people, right? That you're gonna see in those different areas. One thing that always boggled me, it was like with Tyler Perry movies, right?
I was just thinking about him. Yeah.
I'm not watching all the Tyler Perry movies. I've seen some of them, but I'm not gonna watch all of them because, like you said, I've already seen this. I've already seen that. Plus, on top of that, a lot of the movies.
The representation is off when you talk about the average everyday person. Like, not to say that, again, like you said, that was a great example. Like with the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, there are situations like that. There are some black people who stay in nice neighborhoods and do this and do that. But when you making these movies and every person that you show is staying in a nice house and, the family's all, in good spirits and got all this stuff going on. It's like, that ain't how it is all the time. Like with black people, amongst different, and you don't ever have movies where people, are in a bad situation, like for real. Mm-hmm. And like, no, they actually in a decent situation, but they making their own problems. Like, but again, it's entertainment purposes, right? But the problem with that is by you creating this unrealistic, movie or item or whatever it is you want to call it, that now the rest of the world is viewing, and some people, like the kid you talked about, where they don't know any better than what they see that's put out for a culture. But now you've you know what I'm saying? Like you said, you've put us under attack, and now we basically are seen as this or that. Yeah, and it's like, well, how do you combat that?
I think so. Again, I think we have to target the community, but we can't target black adults because once people become adults, they kind of have their mindset and it's like not changing. Yeah, like they like what they like, it's over. But when you look at our youth, I think with our youth, we need to expose them to different kinds of content with black people in it. Yeah. So like starting off with like even comic books. By the way, support black artists who make sci-fi comic books and stuff. I plan to be one of them, and I buy a lot of books from those who already are, so support those people. Anyway, so you just have to like make sure that you're exposing the youth and stuff to things, of course, with parent consent. You can't do crazy stuff, but just exposing them to black people in different spaces, like in science fiction, in horror, in what other genres are there? Different stuff.
So many.
Yeah, so many. All of them. So yeah, I think exposure first, and then by the time those kids grow up, they're going to have a larger palette of things that they like. So then once they grow up, you'll start to get that consumership when you put out these shows and movies and stuff, because to them it wouldn't be foreign. To them it would be something that they've seen before and they like that too. Yep. So we just have to broaden the palettes of our youth.
Plant them seeds.
Those seeds. That's right.
And
so
I like
to start early.
Yeah. And I like to kind of piggyback off what my man Sensei Tre, had brought up Tyler Perry, because I feel like that kind of draws a line at a point where it's like, depending on that person, are they in it for the money or to just the views, to have fun, or are they in it for like the responsibility of making that impact in the community?
Right.
So it's kind of like that thin line basically on where I guess creative stand or black creative stand at that point. Because some people, I feel like when you get when you get that money, that big payday, it's like, well, I can go over here and get this and keep doing what I'm doing, or I could, take that chance of having that impact with my community too, not knowing if they're gonna basically receive it, and basically buy those other products or projects like they did on this side. So it's kind of like a thin line there. Yeah. But yeah, I do feel like what you're in it for, like me, for instance, I have, an entertainment company, and I'm basically, I'm more on the impact in my community and being more responsible with what I'm actually presenting, because I know that kids gonna be watching. I know people gonna be looking, because my dad always was telling me, even when you don't see nobody looking, somebody's always looking, and that's more true now.
It's what you're doing when nobody's looking. Exactly. That really matters.
Right. Especially with this social media and everything. People got camera phones everywhere now in your face, and it's like you just gotta be, more responsible, for what you put out there.
Facts.
And your image.
Yeah.
Just kind of going back to the whole palette thing that you was talking about, right? With introducing the youth to different things. I think that's partially why I think what I think about with like what we were talking about with the relationship stuff too, because if you teach, it's about like, some of it's about the individual. You don't think how you think, right? But part of how you think is based off of what you saw, what you were around, good experiences, bad experiences, all those types of things. And, if you teach a person to don't date this person, don't date that person, only like this, only like that, and like what my man Ice early was saying, hey, that's pretty much how I see that I need to do this, because that's what, how I was raised or what I was around, right? Whereas if you open up that palette, now this person might be open to actually being able to, oh, well, this type of person gives me this type of experience. This type of person gives me this type of experience. Like, and it's just very different. And you don't lock yourself into just having to be a certain type of way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's funny that it's kind of coming full circle, because that was one thing I was thinking about earlier when we were talking about that was, when I think back to the women that I personally have dated, like, it's funny. So we do have stigmas about like certain cultures and stuff like that. But even beyond that, it's somewhat true that, certain types of women that you date, they are certain types of ways. I mean, yeah, each individual is different in their own right, but like, there are just certain things that if you're dating a white woman or a Hispanic woman or a black woman, just you may or may not experience with that person because of, again, us culturally in those
cultural differences and nuances and things like that. Yeah.
And so it's just, the way it's funny, like some people are like, man, you need to, get you a Hispanic woman because she'll treat you this way or whatever, right? And it's like, well, in their culture, that's kind of the way that they've been taught to, like do this and do that. So you might see that, right? More often than you would with the next woman. But at the same time, that's not to say you won't meet this black woman over here that's going to, treat you like a king. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though society has made it seem like, oh, black women just angry and they just, no, they ain't.
But see, that's why I asked earlier, like, was when I said, like, was he only dating African American women? Because, I mean, there's so many different types. When you talk about black women, there's so many different types, and they have different cultural ways that they might interact in a relationship, right? So you have black women who are Haitian, you have black women who are Jamaican, you have black people who are from the Dominican Republic, you have black women from Cuba, you have all these different types of black women. So I feel like a lot of times people will date multiple black women and say, oh, it was terrible. But what was the cultural background of these women as well? You have to factor different elements. And then what is like the financial background? Did they grow up in poverty where it was just one parent? Did they grow up with a 2-parent home, or did they have co-parents that were cohesive and making sure that everybody was happy and healthy? Like, there's so many other elements and factors to determine what a woman is going to do in a relationship with you, or how she's going to behave or carry herself. You have to look at all the things. Race is one of the things, but there are other elements too that go into that.
So just to kind of interject, that's why I think that race should not be the first thing that you look at. Because listen to why I say that though. Race shouldn't be the first thing, even if it's still, in your criteria, right? As an individual, it shouldn't be the first thing that you look at, because at the end of the day, it comes back to those the roots of, like, who are they at that core, right? And if this type of person over here is, let's just say you got, I don't know, selection of 20 women in a room. I'm just throwing out a random number.
Pop the balloon.
Yeah, pop the balloon. There you go.
Yeah.
That's a perfect example, actually. You got, matter of fact, and you on the opposite side. You ain't the one, you the one that can pop the balloon for the person that's picking, right? And so anybody that doesn't know pop the balloon, go look it up. It's basically a dating game. But anyway, so let's say you were in the lineup, okay? This person is like, they done X'd out everybody else, and they get to you, and it's a white woman, right? And you knew she was white from the beginning when you first saw her walk through the door. But everything that you heard about her was like, dang, that's really like the kind of person I really like want, as far as who she is, what she does, like things she values, all these types of things. But if it's just so set on just race and race alone, then it's like, well, dang, that could have been a missed opportunity right there. I mean, I understand that you got certain things in your view or your values or whatever that may.
Dr. Umar is not pleased.
I ain't worried about that, man.
Man, Dr. Umar, my guy.
I ain't worried about that, man.
If you actually sit down and listen to him, he actually has a lot of great points. But I understand what you're saying. Like, you might miss your blessing in a good woman because you're focused on a certain characteristic of that woman, such as race.
Yeah. And they can't help that they were born.
They can't help that way. That's why I said I don't judge people who date outside their race, and it's a person. I just go back to, it depends on the individual. It's a personal choice. For me, I just can't do it. As wonderful as she is, as amazing, and I'm like, this is checking all the boxes and stuff.
She don't check that one.
I can't do it. Yeah, I just can't. But again, that just depends on the person, because the next black man might say, well, you know what, that's a good woman. I'm gonna pursue that. Yeah, so it just depends on the person. I think it's an individual choice whether you want it. Because some people, even with not just race, let's say religion, some people only want to date other Christians. Some people only want to date other Muslims because of that confusion in their household that they feel might happen. And then there's some people who date, like I know one person, she was like a Hindu or something like that, but her husband was Christian, and they're married and they have their kids. And so it just depends on that person and what they want.
Yeah. I guess short answer is think for yourself.
Yes.
Exactly.
Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah. So.
But I was gonna say, you know what I'm saying? So Mr. Iceberg, I see you over here all swagged out, you know what I'm saying?
What's up?
I know you didn't happen to, bless us with your attire today, but I just wanted to holler at you about, your brand and everything that you got.
Oh yeah, richcreators.com. Go check them out. We got a lot of stuff coming, working with a lot of different people. I'm gonna go ahead and throw Trap Proper out there too. But what's your question you want to ask? Like, I mean, I ain't showing off this. So
he said I ain't showing it. That's why I said you ain't got it on today.
It's just for the camera.
I just wanted to know, you basically just told us, you got some stuff coming up and everything. So what you got any and also I'm gonna have to get back to you on that too, but any social media, is there anybody need to follow anything like that?
Social media, so I mean you can find me at Rich Creators on Instagram, CJ Richardson 35 on Instagram, Facebook, just look up Rich Creators, and everything will come up. I mean, we'll put it at the link at the bottom or on the, so you know how they do.
Say it right here. Try to put it in the description. Yeah.
The pop up.
So I'm gonna loop that back around this way.
Yeah, so I'm TopCarter CL here. Got my own media company, TopCarter Entertainment, and basically also got my own podcast, Verified Podcast, where I interview business owners, athletes, and just individuals who do incredible things in the community. You know, so that's how I'm putting my best foot forward, and I'm just trying to show us in a great light. Like this how my man Sensei Tre said, you know, Black excellence. Just trying to display that quality and kind of trying to remove these stigmas that's in our community and plaguing our community now. You know, so if you want to follow me, TopCarter ENT on Facebook, also on Instagram, TopCarter ENT as well. And I'm also on TikTok, TopCarter ENT. So, hey, follow me.
Covering all bases.
Come on now.
Not playing. All right. I respect it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. You can find me on Instagram, Shawn Kel Official. SHAWNKEL official, and it's gonna be down here. And you will find a link to in my bio where you can look at the things I got going on. First, you can look at Imogene Seasonings. So it is a Caribbean style seasoning company that I put together and formulated. So you can check that out and you can place your orders. Please do that because you're gonna love it. I promise you. And then also you can check out AI3 Designs on Instagram, ai3designs.com. I have that company with my co-owner who's behind the camera, LA Brim.
LA Brim.
Yeah, and
give us a little shout out,
it does
Brim.
a little bit of everything. You know, we do videography, photography, graphic design, website development, logo creations, everything. So hit us up if you need our services.
All right, cool. So yeah, your boy Sensei Tre here. You can find me on Instagram at Sensei Tre. You can also find me on Instagram at true.momento. You can also find True Momento on Facebook as well. The website is coming soon. It will be up, but basically True Momento is my multimedia company. So obviously in the name Sensei. Audio engineering, photography, videography, basically just about anything that you can think with media pretty much is what I do. So I just wanted to also note that all these businesses that we are talking about right now are right here in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Tre 4.
Yes,
shout
sir.
out. So like what he said, building, not just building up our people, but also building up the city too, man. You know, bringing things back this way. So
So you forgetting one thing.
Oh yeah, of course.
All of these is Black owned companies by Black men that they're trying to say. So we're already trying to change that stigma.
Yes.
Not even trying, doing.
Yes.
Accomplishing.
Doing.
And
Yes.
these businesses are registered. So hey,
Yes.
Yeah.
so don't play
sleep
with us.
on us. We do get business. We got clients.
Verified.
Come on.
And also, before we tune out here, shout out to our other business partner that couldn't be here today, Miss Juicy.
Yes.
She actually, as you see from the name, you know, Juicy's Corner Show.
Right.
We all met through her, but outside of that, she has a foundation called the Smiley Sweets Foundation. So I want to shout her business out as well because she does a lot for the community here in Winston-Salem. So definitely want to shout her out.
Nice.
Absolutely. Shout out to Juicy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. And we're going to go ahead and wrap this one up. You know, so, hey, just want to let y'all know, thanks for tuning in to the Juicy's Corner Show. And we are going to holler at y'all a little bit later.
But health as well.
Health as well.
Y'all need to get serious about it.
Yeah.
All right, good. I was trying to say like and subscribe.
Wait, what?
And we already said
I said it at the beginning.
He said it at the beginning, but so what I was saying, did you already turn them off or they still go? It don't matter. This can be B-roll.
I just want to shout out my business real quick. I threw Sensei Tre off the bench, so this is LA Brim. This is what I look like in the flesh. Can y'all see me? All right. So my business is AKAB, AKAB.com. I'm gonna tell you fellas, if you want to get your beard right, make it look fresh. when you walk out the door, everybody noticing it is shining, it is glistening, what I'm saying? It's looking mad good. You need to go to acab.com, AKAB is the website. I'm sorry, AKAB Life. Add the life to it. So it's acablife.com, and you get your beard creams, your oil, your shampoo, your conditioner, the comb, everything you need from a first level beard to intermediate beard. We got you. Just go to the website, put your orders in. There's gonna be some discounts. It's about to be Christmas, and there's gonna be some specials. So go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, because this gonna be the best podcast that you've seen lately. All right, peace.